Well, good morning. It is a Monday morning, and yes, another week lies ahead of us. And this week, I want to share with you something that I heard just the other day of falling forward. Now, it reminded me of a preach that I did a number of years ago. And again, today and this week, and throughout this week, I want to speak to you about how not to fall backwards, but how to fall forward. Yes, when we fall forward into the very arms of God. Many have possibly heard the phrase, and you possibly have heard it in the past, of people speaking about falling forward. Now, falling forward simply means this: when one fails in whatever he or she attempts in life, they don't just give up, but they try again. Now, I know we always try again. We always press on. You know, sometimes we mess up in certain things in our life, even in a relationship. We don't end it. We continue to move on. We try and better it. We learn from our mistakes. And when you fall backwards, you're not learning from your mistakes, because you know what? In falling backwards, you go into your old lifestyle, but falling forwards, you fall into the arms of God, and He helps you. In actual fact, what He does, He will eliminate those very areas of your life where you need to work on. And so are many of us. There are certain things in our lives that we need to constantly work on. But if we're going to fall backwards, we will never be able to move forward. But when I fall forward, knowing that God will always help me to continue in the life that He has called me to live. Now, we don't give up the first attempt, but we continue to press forward by trying again. I know many struggle even today with their driving test, and we know some is very difficult to pass the first time. But you don't give up on driving. When you fail, you know what you do? You go back, you attempt it again. And sometimes it may take 3 or 4 times. I've heard people that have attempted their driving test like 6 times. And eventually they get it. Why? Because they are not giving up. Now again, we must not give up on the things of life. No matter how hard it might be, no matter how difficult the trials are, no matter how difficult these temptations are in life, we are overcomers because Christ overcame them. Now, Peter was a man that knew how to fall forward. Now, we're going to talk about him this week, because if you look at his life, man, this was one guy that never gave up. Peter was a man that persevered. He pressed on. He pressed into that what God had for him. Listen to this. Jesus rebuked him one day because of the lack of his perspective of heaven. And you can go and read that in Mark chapter 8 from 32 to 33. But listen to this. This is the rebuke. Jesus turns to him because he's telling his disciples that he's going to have to die and he's going to have to go to the cross. And Peter says, "Never, Lord, this is not going to happen." And he turns around and he says, "Get away from me, Satan." Notice this. He's not saying to Peter, "You, Peter, get away from me." He's saying, "Hey, Satan's in you. Get away from me. I don't want to hear what you're trying to tell me to do." You see, you are seeing things from a human point. This is what he said to Peter. You're looking from a human point. You're not looking from a heavenly point. You're not looking from the spiritual point. You're not looking of what I've been called to come to do. But this did not stop Peter from following Jesus. And when Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do men say that I am?" we know they came up with various answers. You can go read that in Matthew 16. But listen to Peter. What Peter says now again. Remember, Jesus just rebuked him and told him and referred to him as Satan. He comes back and he says, Peter's saying this. He says, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And of course, Jesus turns to him and says, "Man, God the Father revealed this to you. Man could not reveal this to you." Well done, Peter. You catching it. You falling forward. You know how to fall forward. You see, if we look back over history, you will notice that many failed before succeeding in life. You can go and read throughout the Bible how men struggled in many areas, and you can look at the great prophets, how they too fell forward. They didn't give up. They never, because of one failure, they never stopped. They never turned away from God, but they continued to press in. Never allow disappointment in life to keep you from achieving your goals in life. I want you to fall forward into the arms of God. So, I don't know what lies ahead of you this week. I don't know what you've come through, but the one thing that I want to encourage you with today is if you do mess up, please remember this. I want you to fall forward into the arms of our Savior, Jesus Christ, because you know what He will do? He will dust you off, He will pick you up, He will put you back on the road, and He will say to you, continue to press on, because I'm right behind you. I'm there to catch you when you fall.